Hello everyone, and welcome to another video where I'll be taking you through my process of creating a vector illustration. And the object of focus today is this lamp that doubles as a radio and also as a cassette player. Also, a quick note, this is a voiceover and not my actual recording process because there were some technical difficulties along the way, and I just had to circumvent for that by recording this as a voiceover. And basically what I'll be doing in this video is, in this voiceover, is highlighting some of my decisions and processes. So yeah, join me as I take you through my thought process creating this illustration in Adobe Illustrator. I'd also like to know that this can be created in any vector graphics software as long as it doesn't even matter if it is a vector graphics software, regardless of whatever software it is, as long as it's a design software that's got the feature of creating shapes and basic shapes and unique shapes. You can go about creating this, or whatever design software you use. Even if it is you drawing on paper, you could implement this basic ideas to replicate or come up with your own unique illustrations and designs. So as always, the guiding rule for this series and process is to show you how to use basic shape to create an illustration. And as I've done in the previous video, we will be implementing the same process in this, and that is using one of the few basic shapes that we have to create this illustration, which are circles, rectangles, triangles, and even quadrilaterals at that. My overall objective for this series is just to show us how every object around us is composed of basic shapes. And by looking closely at these objects, things, buildings, whatsoever around us, we can study how separate shapes come together to make one whole thing or an object. And just like this reference of this lamp, we could observe how each segment is made up of different shapes stacked or piled on top of each other. And just like I'll be showing, it is a composition of squares, circles, rectangles, with just slight adjustments to the tilts, the angles, or even the scale. And that is the basic principle we're applying to this lamp. Once you've conquered the challenge of understanding what shape makes up what segment of whatever object is around you, you can then use that understanding to replicate or even create your own design out of that thing or an object. And that is the same principle I'll be applying throughout this entire series. So yeah, in this video I am just dragging out and trying to block out the silhouette of this lamp using basic shapes. For some sections I'm dragging the nodes of the rectangle just to give the top of the rectangle some inclination, or even using the pen tool to draw out this custom shape. Whatever method you prefer, you can use to achieve this desired shape that you want, all while still maintaining the idea that it is a basic shape that formulates or composes an object. So now I'll just be dragging out shapes and making a slight adjustment to the corners, the roundness of the corners, just to block out the entire silhouette of the object. So just watch as I do all that in this process. Next is me just providing some additional details to the objects to define, to give it a more defined look and exactness to the reference, the real life thing. And that is, as always, like I mentioned, all while using basic shapes. So yeah, just dragging out the corners and rounding up the corners, drawing the buttons, drawing the cassette holder. And for this cassette holder section, I'm implementing the concept of shadows and lights, using dark colors for places that are not exposed to light, and then maintaining the color of the objects for places that are exposed to light. So for the inner section of the cassette holder, I maintained it having a black color just to provide depth to that section and to the overall illustration as a whole. So yeah, I'll just be going about adding some minor details to define our lamp and give it more and provide more appeal to the illustration that we're trying to make. In this process, I'm just going about like fine-tuning the shapes to give it close to real life exactness, even though we're not going for real life exactness, but then something close and easily recognizable. Now that we've successfully created our object and we're satisfied with what we've created, it is time to add some appeal to this object and give it more context to make it more meaningful, to make the illustration more meaningful. Well, it is meaningful as it is as just an object, but then we can add more context and tell the story using this object that we've illustrated. And the story I'm trying to tell with this is the popular one where a lamp is on the table, just either playing music or being used as an object to light up the entire space. And that by so doing, I created a base for which says at the table and placing the lamp on top. Now with that, you can already notice that the lamp is like sitting in a space and not just floating in air. So using the pencil, I'll be illustrating sound waves and also light rays. The beautiful thing about illustration is you can illustrate sound and light. So just using colors and shapes, you can give a sense of what the object is doing and more peculiarly what the object is doing in that space. And that's my goal for this, to illustrate that one side of the lamp is blaring out music and the other side is being used as an object to light up this space. So yeah, I'm just going about adjusting the shapes to create this sort of like sound waves effects. And on the other end, I would be just drawing out the light ray. So yeah, we've created an object sitting in this space, blaring out music and also shining, acting as an object of luminance. And that's pretty much it. I think I am satisfied with this illustration. And as always, we'll be adding our design series title to the illustration to complete the entire illustration. And that's it. If you've got any questions, I'll be glad to entertain them in the comment section. Thank you.